Have you ever had an idea, for a business, a product, a service, or maybe even just for your own career, and you've wondered how you can turn it into something people actually recognize and connect with? Well, you're in the right place. We are going to walk through the step-by-step blueprint for building a brand that doesn't just exist, but truly resonates. So here's our roadmap. First up, we're going to tackle the big one. What even is a brand? Then we'll get into the fun stuff, crafting its identity and building the foundation. After that, we'll figure out how to get it in front of people, and finally, how to make sure it grows and stays protected. Think of it as the complete founder's journey, from A to Z.
All right, let's dive right in. Before we can build a brand, we really need to be on the same page about what one actually is. And I'm willing to bet it's not what you think. It goes way, way beyond just a slick logo or physical product. Before I give you the answer, just think for a second about a brand you absolutely love. Is it their logo? Is it the thing they sell? Or is it something else? When you strip all of that away, what's really left? And here it is, the key takeaway. A brand isn't something you can touch or hold. It's a perception. It's that gut feeling, right? That collection of ideas and emotions that lives entirely inside someone's head when they think about you. The logo? That's just the shortcut, the trigger. The brand is the meaning we attach to it. So why do we go through all this trouble to build this mental construct? Well, the goal is totally strategic. It's how you position your work to be seen as different, as special. And that distinctiveness, that's what makes people take action, whether it's buying your product, joining your community, or just deciding to stick around. Okay, so we've nailed down the what. Now let's get into the how. This next part is all about the critical thinking you have to do before you even think about designing a logo or building a website. This is the blueprint. Your entire strategic blueprint really comes down to these 3 pillars. First, you define your core identity, what you're all about. Second, you establish your positioning. Basically, where you fit into the grand scheme of things. And third, you create your customer avatar, a super clear picture of exactly who you're talking to.
Now, figuring out your position means knowing who you're up against. And it's not always who you think. Sure, you have your direct competitors, the other coffee shop right down the street. But you also have indirect competitors, the ones who solve the same problem in a different way, like someone just deciding to brew their coffee at home. You've got to understand both to really sharpen your unique edge.
Okay, I absolutely love this exercise because it is so valuable. Instead of thinking about some vague target audience, you literally create a person. Give them a name, a job, hopes, fears, dreams, the whole thing. And this isn't just for fun. This avatar becomes your North Star. It makes sure every single design choice, every word you write, connects deeply with the real people you want to reach. All right, with our strategic homework done, it is time to make this thing real. This section is all about taking that brand blueprint and turning it into a tangible, functioning entity out there in the world. Now we get into the nuts and bolts stuff. First, you need a legal structure. I heard a great story about a hair tie company that started as a simple sole proprietorship. But as they grew and started selling to huge retailers, they switched to an LLC to protect their personal assets. It's a perfect example that your structure can and probably should evolve as your brand grows. And this is your rule book for consistency. The Brand Style Guide, or what some people call the Brand Bible, makes sure that everywhere your brand appears, from a tiny business card to a huge billboard, it looks and feels the same. It defines everything, down to the specific hex codes for your colors and the exact tone of voice you should use. For pretty much any brand today, your website is your online headquarters. The process is pretty simple, really. First, you register your domain name. That's your address. Second, you get hosting. That's the plot of land your house will sit on. And third, you use a content management system, a CMS like WordPress or Shopify, to actually build the house itself. So, the foundation is built. Your digital home is looking good. But a beautiful website with no visitors is really just a file sitting on a server somewhere. Now, our focus has to shift to the constant, ongoing work of connecting with your audience and actually getting discovered. Listen, this is probably one of the most important things to get about the internet today. That famous line from Field of Dreams, it's a total myth online. Building your site is just the beginning. Getting people to actually show up requires a proactive, strategic, and nonstop effort. $38. What's that about? Well, in this age of flashy social media and viral videos, that's the average return on investment for every single dollar spent on email marketing. believe it or not, it is still an absolute powerhouse for driving action and building real relationships.
Here's the golden rule of social media, and the clue is right there in the name. It's social. You can't be like that one relative, let's call him Uncle Fred, who only shows up to family gatherings to try and sell everyone insurance. You have to provide value, have real conversations, and build connections first. Be a welcome guest, not the pushy salesperson everyone tries to avoid. This is such a cool story. There's a podcast called The Gang that started out not by selling ads, but by selling merch to its super loyal listeners. That success gave them the foundation to launch their own full-on clothing label, which ended up being sold in huge retailers like Nordstrom. It's the perfect example of how a passionate community can open doors you never even imagined. All right, we've launched, we're reaching people, but the journey is far from over. In this final section, we're going to focus on the long game, how to scale your brand the right way, and, just as important, how to protect the valuable asset you've worked so hard to build. So how do you know if you're actually ready to grow? You do a brand audit. Seriously, think of it like a comprehensive health checkup for your brand. It makes you look at everything from your original goals to what your customers think of you now, to see what's working, what's not, and where the real opportunities are before you step on the gas. As your brand becomes more valuable, protecting it is absolutely critical. This table breaks down the main tools you have. A trademark protects your brand's identity, your name, your logo. A patent protects a new invention or process, and a copyright protects your creative work, like the words on your website or your photos. And for all of these, please, go get qualified legal advice. It is so worth it.
Look, no brand is perfect. Mistakes happen. If a crisis hits, this is your playbook. The number one rule is to act fast. Acknowledge the problem, don't try to hide it. If it was your fault, give a real, sincere apology. Explain what you're doing to fix it. And above all, be transparent. Trust is so hard to earn and so easy to lose, and honesty is the only way you're going to rebuild it.
So there you have it. We've gone from a simple idea all the way to a protected, growing brand. But the truth is, the work is never really done. The real challenge, and honestly the real reward, is in this question right here. Building a brand isn't a one-and-done thing. It's the start of a relationship. And the brands that last are the ones that never, ever stop listening, evolving, and connecting.